Een hele goede dag. Mijn naam is Nick en vandaag zal ik jullie vertellen over hoe mijn leven was in Nederland voordat ik naar Maleisië verhuisde. Ja, ik woon al, Ik woon al 11 jaar hier in Maleisië en ik vind het geweldig hier. Maar ik heb natuurlijk ook 20 jaar in Nederland gewoond, dus daar zal ik het vandaag even over hebben. Bedankt voor het kijken. Dit is Global Gibbon. Alright, let me switch to English now. What's up everyone, my name is Nick and I thought today I'd talk a little bit about my childhood in the Netherlands before I moved to Malaysia and made this beautiful country my home. I had a great childhood, but not everything went according to plan. And why did I decide to move across the globe to make Malaysia my home? Why did I do that? Well, you'll find out in this video. So let's start at the beginning. So I was born in a small city called Zutphen, and even my birth was already rather unusual. It wasn't an unplanned birth, it was definitely planned. My parents definitely wanted to have me, but I was not born in a hospital, I was born in my parents' house. My parents decided that they wanted to have a home birth to welcome me into the world and into their home. When I was about 1 year old, my parents decided to pack up and move to another city, and that was the city called Lochem, which was about 15 kilometers away from Zutphen, where we were initially living. And Lochem is a beautiful city, and my parents bought a house right in the middle of the city center. And one of my earliest and best memories are when my brother Lochem and I met our neighbors, and especially the neighbors' kids called Lode and Masha. And what we didn't know at that time is that we were going to be best friends for the rest of our lives. So when I think about my childhood, I really just have amazing memories. I remember playing outside all the time. We were always outside, whether it was on the street in front of the house where my brother loved to play football, or me grabbing a tennis racket and play tennis outside. We played a lot of badminton outside on the street. Now we had a beautiful backyard as well at the house with grass, and I remember my dad built us a playhouse made out of wood in the back of the house, and we spent hours there reading Donald Duck magazines, and we just had so much fun. And one more great memory was that we had this huge tree in the back of our house, in the backyard, that we would always be climbing in. When we would be coming back from school, we would climb up in the tree and we would pretend that we were pirates on a ship, or we would be castaways on a deserted island. So yes, definitely a lot of great memories of always playing outside as a kid. Another great memory, well, perhaps the best memory of my childhood is the yearly summer holidays. So my parents loved camping. Even before me and my brother Lochem were born, they loved camping, and that love for camping was given to us as well. So every summer in July, August, we had our school holidays, so we would take 6 weeks off. We would pack up our car with a tent and food and whatever we needed for 6 weeks, and then we would set off in the car to explore Europe. We went to France, we went to Spain, Portugal, and many other countries, and really those times out camping and seeing new villages and exploring historical sites, that is really the best memory I have of my childhood. When I was planning this video, I wrote down a couple of my memories, and really they all were connected to how amazing my parents are. I cannot imagine being who I am now without my parents. My parents created such a great childhood for me and my brother, and I cannot thank them enough. They always allowed us to explore, to find ourselves, and to learn and to love to travel, and they showed us all these different places, and that really has made us, me and my brother, the persons who we are today. And yes, my parents are truly the most amazing people in my life. So yeah, this is one of the toughest things about living in Malaysia, which is missing my parents and my brother and his family now so much, all the time. We don't see each other very often, which, yes, it's always very, very tough. So when I was about 12 years old, I finished primary school and I had to decide where I wanted to go for high school. So I found this high school in a town called Warnsveld, which was about 15 kilometers away from my hometown. And at this high school, they offered a bilingual course, which meant that half my classes were in English and the other half in Dutch. Now, how did I get to school? Because this school was 15 kilometers away from my home. Well, in the Netherlands, we cycle a lot. So every morning I would wake up at 7 a.m., have a quick breakfast, and then hop on my bicycle at 7:30 to cycle for 1 hour to my school. Right, so high school. I had a lot of fun. I definitely had a lot of fun. And some of the best memories I have of my high school was, of course, meeting all these different people from different cities, from further away from my hometown. So I had a lot of exposure to, different kinds of inner Dutch cultures, and yeah, I definitely made a lot of friends. And some of the best memories I had from high school about things we did there were these school trips. Again, I love to travel, so all these memories are coming back. And during my high school, I went on a school trip to London, and yeah, I went to Poland twice. I went the first time, and then we had an option to go again. And yes, I wanted to go back to Poland because I really love Poland. And one of the, I guess, most memorable memories I have of one of these school trips was a visit to the concentration camp of Auschwitz. Now, it's not a nice place to visit because during the Second World War, over 1 million people were murdered there. And after visiting this concentration camp, I was so impressed by the horrendous things that happened there that I just couldn't talk for a couple of days. And bringing back that memory now makes me really upset about what is going on in Ukraine now, the war in Ukraine, Russia invading Ukraine, and all these innocent people dying there for no reason. So yeah. Right, so let's move on. So during my high school time, I went on a lot of trips further away out of the Netherlands with my parents, of course, because I was a kid. I couldn't travel on my own that much. So we went to Indonesia when I was 10 years old, and a couple years later we went to the United States. And those trips were so impactful to me because those were completely different cultures that we visited. And it definitely opened up my mind to how other people are and that there are so many different people all over the world. And again, I thank my parents for allowing me to learn all these things about different people and different cultures. So then in 2006, I went together with my parents to Malaysia. And that was the first time I stepped down here in Malaysia. And yeah, that is kind of where the journey began to where I am now, actually living here in Malaysia. And then all of a sudden I was 16 years old and I had to think about what I wanted to do after high school. I had to pick a degree. Now, I really just wanted to travel. So I asked my parents if I could just travel or become a flight attendant. That's what I had in mind. I just wanted to travel. Now, my parents, being very smart and caring, they said, Nick, nope, you're not going to be a flight attendant and you're not going to travel after high school. You need a degree. You need to study. So I didn't know what I wanted because in the back of my mind, I really just wanted to travel. So I visited various universities with different courses. I was thinking about doing business because through business, I might be able to travel. And then I went to this one university in the southern Dutch city of Breda. And when I visited that university, I knew immediately this was the place where I was going to study tourism. I was going to study tourism at the NHTV University of Applied Sciences. Yes, I decided to study tourism, but that meant I had to move away from my parents and move to a city 180 kilometers away. And yes, that's when my uni time started. So I was 17 years old and I moved to the south of the Netherlands to a city called Breda. And coincidentally, my best friend from high school also moved to that city. So I moved into the student house with him and I learned how to take care of myself better. I had to cook every day and I had to get up and go to school. I mean, I was still, well, maybe not so matured, but I had to become an adult. Now, winters in the Netherlands are very long and very dark and very depressing. So at one point during my studies, I wasn't feeling it anymore. I stayed in my room for days on end. I didn't go to school. I didn't even leave the house. And yeah, I guess I was depressed. I eventually managed to find a counselor at my university to talk to. And after a couple of weeks, I got myself back on my feet and decided to continue my studies. In my third year of university, during my degree, I had to pick a place to do my internship. And this had to be in another country, and of course it had to be tourism related. Now, as I said earlier in the video, and in many of my previous videos, I had visited Malaysia when I was about 15 years old. So I really wanted to go back to Malaysia, and specifically I wanted to go back to Batangai, to a longhouse called Nangga Sumpa, because I had such great memories there, and for years they lingered in my head, and I just had to go back there and visit this place as an adult. So I emailed this company called Borneo Adventure, which was the company that organized that trip when I was 15 years old. And I emailed them saying, can I do my internship with you guys? And within a week they said yes, and it was all sorted out. And on the 14th of January of 2011, I came back to Malaysia. So 2 months into that internship in 2011, I met this beautiful woman called Magdalene. Now, 11 years later, we are married and we have a beautiful son called Milo. So all in all, I have really great memories of my life in the Netherlands for the first 20 years of my life. And all these memories are what I realized thanks to my parents. They are such amazing parents, allowing me to become the person that I had to become. And of course, I miss them dearly, and I miss my brother very much as well. My brother, who's also my best friend now. I cannot wait to fly back to the Netherlands, hopefully soon, and meet his child, my niece, Mirai, and to see his wife again, to see my brother, to see my family there in the Netherlands again, because I miss them so much. Oké, bedankt voor het kijken en vergeet niet op die like te klikken en abonneer je op mijn kanaal als je nog niet geabonneerd bent. Yep, that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week. Bye bye.